All right, I just want to document this is the presence of Satan as you are witnessing my prosecution of the state of California, specifically the people of the state, while an employer, a third-party company, is engaging in terrorism with the state, and that company, those employees are going to federal prison. And I'm referencing speaker companies. I'm also exposing their demon possession and the criminal activity that they engage in with the state of California, who are documented, very heavily documented, engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct at the workplace where I live and where I am also work, which is downstairs. So I want you to pay attention to the timestamps of the pictures that I took. You will see a rapid change, which again, this is not the natural environment. The sun set through my bedroom window after 7 p.m., the sunrise through my living room window before 8 o'clock in the morning. This is the P.O.C. So I also am juxtaposing the light source that's over me at the same time at the Ovid Family Community Library on the same day in 2022. And then you're able to more clearly see the sex offender and the group stalker, the demon-possessed and malicious actor who's going to be prosecuted as the terrorist and the violent sex offender that he is. I'm referencing Carlo Lopez and the entity engaged in analogous conduct. In the same way that Rudolfo Padilla with Finn Termite, who's going to federal prison, I'm going to prosecute Finn, a third-party company, systematically engaged in surveillance here at Alvarado Gardens with the state of California and the people of the state. And the entity that's aware that you're documenting them will engage in what is very foolish. You will have the demon-possessed third party drive off the grounds. They're not avoiding prosecution. He's been documented engaged in terrorism for over 365 days, for over a year. The entity will have this third party drive off and then stalk you in a manner that you can perceive to communicate a threat to your safety, well-being, overall peace of mind and whatnot, and does so while you're documenting one third party, which is to individualize federal group stalking and monitoring, and it's not a criminal act committed by an individual. It is while the entity is engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet, which is not removing that third party who drives off the grounds as though there's some contradiction to what you have documented, and it's not. It is the malice, and it is revealing the deranged mindset of the demon-possessed who are group stalking in the specific environment. That's what Carlo Lopez, he's going to federal prison. He's a violent sex offender. I am physically nude inside of a private space while he is pacing around like the cockroach in the spirit that he is, keeping somebody under surveillance, aware of my condition, my state, my indisposed state, while he's engaging in what is pacing all around in the specific environment with the rest of the sex offenders that are the people of the state that live at Alvarado Gardens. The demons that are stalking in helicopter know of my physically indisposed state while they engage in ongoing surveillance. This is the sex offense that the state is going to be prosecuted for, while they're keeping you under surveillance as an American citizen in violation of your constitutional human rights. This demon, Carlo Lopez, is just doing so while holding a leaf blower under the guise of a company business. Todd Speaker Companies is going to compensate me for that sex offense that's occurring in the workplace, while federal group stalking and monitoring is underway, while a demon-possessed third party is group stalking on behalf of the state of California and has been systematically since I began employment. So I want to be clear, 5 minutes from 8:02, 8:07, you'll see a rapid enhancement to the engineered light. This isn't even sunlight, nor is that the sun. But I want you to pay attention to, this is analogous to what the entity does on an ongoing basis. The removal, the physical removal, which is not removal from identity in the entity, okay? These are a bunch of demons who have no intellectual capacity to escape the prosecution that they're subject to, nor can you, under any circumstances, escape what is your exposure as demons. But nonetheless, I'm going to prosecute you for being demons and group stalking me, and doing so under the guise of speaker company. So while the demon drives off the ground, you will see from 8:02 to 8:07 rapid change in the color of the enhanced concentration of the engineered light, which is speaking to exactly what Carlo Lopez is and what he was doing while I captured him stalking me in relevant position outside of my bedroom window, doing so under the guise of a demon that wants to look like they're doing something leaf blowing in the specific environment. The entire population is doing nothing other than engaging in surveillance, focused on me. And you also know that through the engineered environment, where there's no sunrise that would be outside of my living room window, that's called stalking in alignment with the light source. There's no sunlight that's going to appear in this manner at all inside of my apartment, which is supposed to be the product of the sun. This is engineered light, which remains for the duration of the day, many iterations of it, including on the walls and on the ceilings. In addition to that, creating multiple shadows, but the entity is engaging in what is, and I'm speaking through Carlo Lopez, as he drives off of the property. I want to be clear, that is analogous to stalking me in a helicopter in a perceptible manner after that demon that is specifically named drives off of the property, and you do not cease to be a part of that entity. And because the entity engages in a pattern of showing such malice and showing such real-time knowledge of your documentation, that's relevant for enhancement to federal charges and sentencing. Okay, Carlo Lopez and the entire SoCal speaker companies, you're looking at what's going on inside of my apartment 24/7. They're all going to federal prison. They're all engaged in federal stalking. They're all group stalking under the guise of what is maintaining a workplace where they hired to engage in terrorism and group stalking with the government. You're going to federal prison for that. Then they engaged in ongoing group stalking with the corporate office. That's why they hired. That's why they hired me. This is why federal stalking is underway. The corporate office is going to federal prison. There's no sun over them in Palo Alto while it's rising and setting in alignment to me, okay? And at my apartment at the same address. And there's also no sun over the Ovid Family Community Library. And it's terrorism via directed light. It's terrorism that is reasonably construed from the unnatural environment where the state is keeping you under surveillance, that state action, with real-time knowledge of third parties such as Carlo Lopez. He's going to federal prison. And if his wife is in relevant position, which I believe he lives not far, she's going to be prosecuted as well as a group stalker. Okay, so I just want to be clear. Nobody's escaping justice. So it is currently 8:14 a.m. I want to document that, and you will witness that through an analysis of the images that I captured, and it speaks to real-time knowledge. All of it does, but I wanted to make sure I articulated this aspect of the criminal act, and it's specifically attributed to speaker companies who are engaged in federal stalking on 24/7. And remember, it's not separate from what the entire population is doing, but speaker companies is doing it under the guise of a company name, so I'm going to drain the pockets of that company. So let me show you the light source. It's not sunlight, nor is this the sun. And the light source remains in alignment to me as I capture 7 p.m. And this fake sun is still seen through my bedroom window, even while the blinds are closed. And by the way, the blinds are closed in the same position, but while the fake sun is on the opposite side of my apartment, then you have sunlight that's somehow appearing on the ceiling and on the floor. But in the morning, the so-called sunrise and sunlight appears on the floor through closed blinds, and no sunlight on the ceiling, no concentrated light, because this apartment is filled with engineered light, okay? That's how you have the shadow of my fireplace appearing at a distance away from it. That's engineered light, okay? That is the presence of the demonic. You can hold a leaf blower, you can hold a baby. You can drive off of the property, Silverview Townhomes, they're all gonna be prosecuted as the terrorists they are, okay? And the Los Angeles Police Department, that entire demon-infected department, has done nothing to help the people of the state, nor can a demon-possessed corrupt agency. All they are doing is serving for what they will suffer under federal law, which will include federal prison, okay? So it is currently 8:15 a.m. This is P.O.C.